minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock in Trinidad and Tobago, and we are getting ready because Trinbago is celebrating Steelpan Month. August is almost here, and joining us this morning in studio to share more is Kwesi Moore, the PRO of Trinbago, no stranger to the show and the bringer of pins, and Graeme Suite, the CEO of the National Trust of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us, and I wonder when we'll get over this pin story.
I mean, they're beautiful.
But in the spirit of Pan Month, next time for sure you're having us. The entire morning crew staff will have it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Cameraman, yeah, full works.
Okay, so
yeah, but they're very popular. I mean,
they're gorgeous.
Lovely.
And
the silver and the gold. Yeah.
You see? Both colors. Anyway, all right. So let's get into the reason that we're here. We're excited. The whole world is excited because it is Steelpan Month. What have things been like at Trinbago so far in preparation?
We have been so excited as we get ready for yet another edition of Steelpan Month. Of course, coming off of a bumper carnival 2025, and of course, this is the second Steelpan Month, where pan is recognized as the national musical instrument officially of Trinidad and Tobago. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, on July 19th, marks the one-year anniversary since the act has been proclaimed into law. So that is particularly special. Again, the second year that we're having Steelpan Month, which is filled with a number of activities, some of which we'll get to, and of course, my partner here from the National Trust will also discuss some of them. But the theme this year for Pan Month, most importantly, is from roots to resonance, echoing across generations and nations.
Now, I mean, it does seem pretty self-explanatory, to be honest, the theme, but we need to know what inspired it particularly for the second year.
The journey of the Steelpan from beginning to now. The fact that where it was born from the bowels of slavery, from tambu bamboo, and the journey that it has taken to, of course, being one of the nicest, sweetest sounding musical instruments in the world, but thereafter becoming officially our national instrument, and of course the latest thing, it being on our coat of arms. Wow. And you can't, of course, deny the fact that the United Nations has recognized the instrument and has given it a designated day on August the 11th, which of course falls within the Steelpan Month calendar of events, World Steelpan Day.
So before we get into the calendar events, you did mention that tomorrow is when the act would have been proclaimed.
1 year
the anniversary of the act. Is anything happening tomorrow?
Yes, so we do have a private function and ceremony that Trinbago will be hosting at the Radisson, where we take a special toast. We acknowledge with some significant performances, and then we do launch something very special and dear to Trinbago, but that will only become public after it is launched tomorrow. But we do have a one-year commemorative event celebrating that milestone.
So we're looking forward to something tomorrow. We're looking forward to seeing what's going to be launched. All right, Graeme, good morning again.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How have collaborations been between National Trust and Trinbago thus far?
Oh, well, I would say phenomenal, because we rely on their expertise and knowledge on the issue. But to complement that, the National Trust, while we focus on what we call tangible heritage, we realize that there is an inseparable bond between cultural heritage and tangible heritage. And as Kwesi mentioned, a big part of the celebration for World Steelpan Month involves youth. The event the Trust normally hosts tend to be very immersive types of events where young people can come and get their hands on things. You know, learning about Steelpan by watching a performance is one thing, but to get the youth involved, we give them a lot of hands-on opportunities with seeing. So at our event, we'll have the pan manufacturers showing how the pan is made. We'll have the tambu bamboo group doing a performance, but also teaching young people about it. We'll have the National Steel Symphony performing, but also teaching about playing pan as well. So there's a number of opportunities, as well as craft, building steel pans. So we have a number of youth opportunities for families to get involved and have a more immersive experience with learning about pan. Oh. And that's how we hope to complement the work done by Trinbago.
It sounds quite intricate. I know many times with National Trust events there is some sort of pre-registration necessary. Is it going to be the same for this event, for Steelpan?
No, there's no pre-registration required, but we are a non-profit charitable organization, so it is part of a fundraising drive. So we allow persons to purchase tickets, adults and children, $100 for adults, $50 for children. But once you get on the compound, participation and everything else has no additional cost.
Wonderful.
So there's no registration, but you can buy tickets online or purchase tickets at the gate on Sunday, the 3rd of August, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
All right, so Sunday, the 3rd of August, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Kwesi, we're coming back to you now,
Sure.
of course, because I'm sure, well, the calendar is full for August, courtesy Pan Trinbago. Walk us through the calendar.
So we do have a number, a number of events on the calendar. Not all are Pan Trinbago driven events. Some of them are partnerships, such as with the National Trust, but most notably, we have our South Central region of Pan Trinbago putting on a concert called Echoes of Steel that is happening on the 8th of August at Naparima Bowl. On the 9th of August, we have Panya Jams, which was introduced last year as part of the World Steelpan Festival. It was a three-day weekend, and of course the Panya Jams were Steelpan performances by various bands across different panyards in Trinidad and Tobago at the same time. That continues on the 9th. On August 11th, World Steelpan Day is the big show that we usually have in the square. It's Monday, but that doesn't stop anything. So we will have a number of the conventional bands in Woodford Square, but preceding that, we have the ancestral walk that takes place throughout Port of Spain with a number of our single pan bands. Of course, the single pan bands represent our tradition and our heritage. Thereafter, the following day, on August 12th, we have, for the first time, a youth day on the promenade. And it coincides with the International Day of Youth. So a number of our top youth bands in the under 21 category would be on Independence Square on the Brian Lara Promenade, free to the public, of course, performing on that afternoon. Of course, in all things, we must give thanks. So I do have to go back to August the 10th, which is our church service. Now, this is taking on a different format this year. It is called Steelpan on a High Note of Praise.
Okay.
So we do give thanks for all that we have achieved as an organization, as a movement, and that will be happening on August the 10th. We do have Oral History Night taking place at Massey Trinidad All-Stars Panyard on the 15th, and of course, Pan and Powder, Steel Pan and Powder taking place on August 20th. We should pause now, but we know Pan and Powder is a big one that happens through the streets of Port of Spain. So we give our usual instruction: come in your white, and we listen to some bands at City Hall in Port of Spain. We take a trip up the road to the Savannah, and we take a listen to some more bands in the Queen's Park Savannah. Sorry, you go ahead.
No. I mean, there's so much. That's the thing, right? And it's fantastic because you're literally looking at every week there is something that celebrates our national instruments.
That's right.
But I want to go back to the 11th of August because, as you mentioned, it is a regular day as a Monday, but we're still going outside to enjoy ourselves. So I need to ask, what time did the celebration start, or is it one of these I'm running away at lunchtime to take in something?
No. So the ancestral walk, which starts with the single pan bands, begins at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So it's after the work day.
Right.
And of course, the celebrations continue in Woodford Square from about 7 p.m. that evening as well.
Okay, great. So that's something you can add to your calendar. No excuses, of course. Now, of course, outside of collaborating with the National Trust, are there any other organizations that you're collaborating with?
Sure. And I must say the collaboration is very meaningful to us because it doesn't only mean that we provide financial support. There's support in terms of media and promotions. There's one organization that we're partnering with in terms of giving historical data and pictures and information for a documentary that they're about to put out. And a number of other organizations, such as the Garcia family, with the Pan on the Avenue that is happening on the 30th of August, the night before Independence. And that's a big one, you know, Pan on the Avenue is a huge one. So those are some of the partnerships that we are engaging with during Pan Month.
It's incredible because it's been such a transformation and it's only going into the second year.
Yes.
Any takeaways from last year that you can pinpoint that you know you're going to be changing or adding on to for 2025?
One significant thing was the first World Steelpan Conference, which took place at the Hyatt Regency last year. Now, it's not happening again this year. It may not happen every year as we could see, but it is one of those times where persons from around the world can gather in the Mecca of Steelpan in Trinidad and Tobago to discuss the developments of the instruments, to talk about ways that we could collaborate moving forward. I mean, last year was the year where we launched the GI, the geographical indication, which gave Trinidad and Tobago a form of intellectual property right over the steel pan, which was something that we've been long waiting for. So we look forward to things like that continuing and happening in the future, where we could have major announcements and developments regarding our national musical instrument.
I'm glad that you mentioned the future, because Graeme, I'm coming back to you. What do you see as the future of the relationship with Pan Trinbago and the National Trust and our instrument?
Well, outside of what we're celebrating now, one of the other areas that the Trust has been focusing on and trying to develop more work on is actually the origins of steel band camps, because those historically are places that we should have registered as heritage assets on our heritage asset inventory and provide legal protections for them, because it's very easy over time and with commerce for these places to become lost. And part of the role of the National Trust is to give people a sense of appreciating the origins of our culture, and places like steel band camps are areas that we want to develop, to put on the heritage asset inventory, that they can become legally protected, but they also can benefit from a new incentive we have called the Heritage Tax Allowance Program, whereby properties on this inventory can benefit from corporate sponsors putting money into their development and expansion and preservation, and those companies can earn 150% of the expense as a way of reducing their tax liability.
So winning all around,
yes.
Essentially, that is for sure. All right, Kwesi, one of the things you also mentioned is the day after World Steel Pan Day, on the 12th, is International Youth Day. Let's talk a little bit more about the youth incorporation into this month particularly. What can we look out for the younger generation?
So, very importantly, earlier this year during the carnival season, we relaunched our youth arm of Pan Trinbago, which is a body of young people, of course, that come together and focus on initiatives and activities specifically targeted and geared towards the youth. And of course, that is led by our education officer, Mrs. Candice Andrews Brumont. And they would have conceptualized alongside our president, Mrs. Beverly Ramsey Moore, the idea of the youth event on Brian Lara Promenade. And of course, as I mentioned before, it features some of our top youth orchestras. But beyond that, there are ideas and discussions in place for some training and some workshops and things like that would be geared and specifically targeted towards the youth that are involved in steel pan, not only in our under 21 bands, but of course those in the national school level, primary and secondary categories as well.
Wonderful. I'm glad you mentioned that, because of course that's the follow-up question.
Yes.
So for children who do want to get involved, how can their parents get more information? I mean, how do we get more information about what's happening this coming month too?
So generally, you can email admin at pantrinbago.co.tt. Of course, you can check out all of our social media. We are regularly posting a million updates every week on Facebook, on Instagram @_pantrinbago, and our website, of course, pantrinbago.co.tt for all information, all things related to Pan. You can stay in contact with us through those media.
And of course, one thing about Pan Trinbago is that you all are very busy.
Yes.
Because aside from Steelpan Month happening in August, you are ready for Carnival, already ready for Carnival
Our
2026.
theme is out, yes.
Your theme is out. So how is the team balancing the two?
We have a dynamic team of both young and experienced persons within the organization, our staff, and our events committee that run the show, of course, with our president at the helm driving everything. So it's a busy time, but we just prepare for it. It's panto, I don't know how else to describe it, because when you're in that pantomimes, that starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it finishes 1 o'clock the following morning, and we go in. I mean, Pan Month is just another day in Pan Trinbago.
It's easy. All right, so Graeme, as we get ready to close our conversation, what's one event that you're looking forward to the most for Pan Month?
Well, our particular event, I have to be biased, and because it covers everything that Kwesi talked about. We'll have the police and the regiment steel bands performing as the professional manifestation of steel pan. We'll have Highlanders, which is and it will be their youth steel pan team performing, which is again touches on what Kwesi mentioned about the youth being involved. We'll have the Tambu Bamboo entities and the steel pan manufacturers demonstrating how steel pan is made. So our event kind of collapses everything they're doing in the month into one all-inclusive experience that's very immersive and hands-on, so that I don't think it's a bias. I think it just complements what.
And I don't mean to cut in, but all Steelpan events generally are family oriented. We do see a wide cross section of the population participating, from young persons to older persons. But this event in particular, which caters to families, young children and their parents could come and participate and be a part of this immersive experience. I love the idea of the tambu bamboo being something that they could learn firsthand and experience, because that is, of course, part of the origin story as well. So kudos to the National Trust, and we look forward to this event on August 3rd and all events on the calendar for Pan Month 2025.
And as we close, I have the same question for you. What's one thing you're looking forward to?
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
pan and powder.
I mean, wonderful. Well, Kwesi and Graeme, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Know you're going to be real busy, but you're going to enjoy it. That's the most important thing, yeah?
Thanks very much for having us.
Of course, it's our pleasure. Steelpan Month is happening in August, and we right here at the Now Morning Show have all the information for you. Stay tuned. There's more coming up right after this break.